Grace Kelly's transformation from an Oscar-winning actress to the beloved Princess of Monaco is one of the most captivating real-life fairy tales of the 20th century. Her journey from the glamour of Hollywood to the refined courts of European royalty is not only a story of romance, but also of dedication, elegance, and a sense of duty that defined her new role. So let's explore the story of Grace Kelly, Hollywood princess and Monaco's royal. Before we start, please support my channel by clicking like and subscribe buttons. Grace Patricia Kelly was born on November 12, 1929, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, into a wealthy and accomplished family. Her father, John B. Kelly, was a three-time Olympic gold medalist in rowing and a successful businessman who built a thriving construction empire. Her mother, Margaret Major, was of German descent and had been the first female coach of women's athletic teams at the University of Pennsylvania. The Kellys were a socially prominent family, known for their athleticism, discipline, and high standards. Despite her family's strong emphasis on sports and academia, Grace was drawn to the arts from an early age. She participated in school plays and dreamed of a career on stage. Her interest in acting was further inspired by her uncle, George Kelly, a Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright. Against her parents' initial objections, she pursued acting at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City. Living at the Barbizon Hotel for Women and modeling to support herself, Grace quickly made a name for herself in television dramas broadcast live from New York. Her distinctive voice, refined manners, and undeniable on-screen charisma paved her way to Hollywood. Grace Kelly's film debut came in 1951 with a minor role in 14 Hours, but it was her performance opposite Gary Cooper in High Noon, 1952, that began to attract attention. Her performance impressed critics, and it was followed by her role in Mogambo, 1953, alongside Clark Gable and Ava Gardner. Grace's performance won her a Golden Globe and an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. Her acting career took off swiftly. In 1954, she appeared in three major films: Dial M for Murder, Rear Window, and The Country Girl. Her role as the neglected wife of an alcoholic singer in The Country Girl was a departure from her usual glamorous parts and earned her an Academy Award for Best Actress. She beat out Judy Garland, who had been expected to win for A Star is Born. Working with Alfred Hitchcock was a defining part of Grace's Hollywood journey. Hitchcock described her as the epitome of the cool blonde, reserved on the outside but passionate underneath. He once said she had sexual elegance. Grace's performances in Hitchcock's films, such as Rear Window, where she starred opposite James Stewart, and To Catch a Thief with Cary Grant, are still considered cinematic masterpieces. By 1955, Grace had become one of the most admired actresses in the world. She was on every magazine cover, her fashion sense set trends, and she was viewed as Hollywood's reigning queen. Despite her success, she began contemplating a different life, one that didn't involve the relentless pressures of stardom. In 1955, Grace was invited to the Cannes Film Festival to promote her new film and was scheduled for a photo session at the Prince's Palace with Prince Rainier III of Monaco. The meeting, orchestrated by Paris Match journalist Pierre Galante, was meant to be a brief and formal affair, but fate had other plans. Technical difficulties during the shoot forced Grace to wait, and during this delay, she had a private tour of the palace with the prince. Their short meeting sparked a fascination that would develop into a long-distance romance. After she returned to the US, the two began corresponding frequently. Prince Rainier was searching not only for a wife, but also for someone who could help bring international attention to Monaco. The principality, surrounded by France, was in financial difficulties and needed to secure its independence and allure. Grace's stardom offered Monaco visibility, while the prince offered Grace a new life far removed from the artificial lights of Hollywood. When Prince Rainier visited the U.S. in December 1955, he proposed to Grace at her family's home in Philadelphia. She accepted, and their engagement was announced to great fanfare, setting the stage for a royal wedding that would capture global imagination. Preparations for the wedding were monumental. Grace's family paid a dowry of $2 million, as was the custom for marrying into royalty. MGM Studios, with whom Grace was still under contract, agreed to release her from all future commitments in exchange for the rights to film the wedding. The celebrations began with a civil ceremony on April 18, 1956, in the palace's throne room, as required by Monegasque law. The next day, a grand religious ceremony was held at St. Nicholas Cathedral. Attended by 600 guests, including royalty, diplomats, and Hollywood stars, the wedding was broadcast to over 30 million people worldwide. Her wedding gown, designed by Helen Rose, featured a high-necked bodice, long lace sleeves, a fitted waist, and a voluminous skirt. It was adorned with 25 yards of silk taffeta, 100 yards of silk net, and antique Brussels lace. The gown remains one of the most iconic bridal dresses in history and has inspired countless replicas. The couple received lavish gifts, including a Rolls-Royce from Monaco's citizens and priceless heirlooms from European nobility. After the wedding, Grace Kelly officially became Her Serene Highness Princess Grace of Monaco. Princess Grace's new life in Monaco required her to leave Hollywood behind forever. She adapted to her new role with remarkable grace, taking on official duties, state visits, charity work, and becoming a cultural ambassador for the tiny principality. She gave birth to 3 children: Princess Caroline in 1957, Prince Albert in 1958, and Princess Stephanie in 1965. As a mother, she was hands-on and deeply involved in her children's upbringing, emphasizing education, cultural exposure, and discipline. Grace's philanthropic efforts were vast. She founded World Association of Children's Friends and supported numerous charities focusing on the arts, health, and children's welfare. She also established the Princess Grace Foundation USA to support emerging artists in theater, dance, and film. Despite public adoration, life in Monaco came with sacrifices. Grace had to navigate a rigid protocol, press intrusion, and the limitations imposed by her royal role. She occasionally considered returning to acting but was discouraged by her husband and the expectations of her position. Instead, she expressed her creativity through poetry, flower arrangement, and narrating documentaries. She worked to transform Monaco into a cultural hub. Under her influence, the Monte Carlo Ballet and the Philharmonic Orchestra flourished, and the annual Rose Ball became a glamorous event on the European social calendar. Grace brought not only star power, but a quiet dignity to her royal responsibilities. With her transition from Hollywood star to European royal, Grace Kelly's jewelry collection transformed into one of the most elegant and coveted in the world. Prince Rainier III marked their engagement with a stunning 10.47-carat emerald-cut diamond ring from Cartier, flanked by 2 baguette-cut diamonds. The ring became one of her most recognizable pieces, featured in promotional photos and even in her final film, High Society. Cartier would remain one of Grace's favorite jewelry houses throughout her life. As Princess of Monaco, Grace had access to an array of exquisite jewels, including heirloom pieces from the Grimaldi family. She often wore classic pearl necklaces, diamond tiaras, and brooches with understated grace. One of her favorite tiaras was the Bande de Mer tiara, made of 3 detachable diamond brooches in a floral motif. Though rarely seen wearing large tiaras in public, when she did, she embodied regal elegance in its purest form. Her jewelry style was always sophisticated rather than ostentatious, mirroring her overall aesthetic. She frequently opted for timeless pieces, diamond rivières, delicate earrings, and elegant bracelets. Grace also appreciated meaningful jewelry. She cherished gold coffee bean suite that was owned by Grace Kelly well before she ascended to her role as Princess of Monaco, as well as floral-themed pieces that reflected her love of nature. Her influence on jewelry fashion remains profound, with many modern princesses and celebrities citing her timeless style as an inspiration. On September 13, 1982, while driving back to Monaco from their country home in Roque-Aguilar, Princess Grace suffered a stroke. She lost control of the car, which veered off the road and plunged down a steep embankment. Her daughter Stephanie, who was in the passenger seat, sustained minor injuries, but Grace suffered fatal injuries. She passed away the next day at the age of 52. Her death was met with a global outpouring of grief. Leaders, celebrities, and common people alike mourned the loss of a woman who had bridged the worlds of art and monarchy with rare elegance. Princess Grace's funeral was a state occasion, attended by royalty and dignitaries from around the world. Cary Grant, her longtime friend and co-star, was among the mourners. She was buried in the family crypt at the Cathedral of St. Nicholas, where her journey into royal life had officially begun. Princess Grace left behind more than memories and films. She left a legacy of grace service. Her children, particularly Prince Albert II, continue to uphold her charitable and cultural values. The Princess Grace Foundation remains active in supporting emerging artists worldwide. In a world often dominated by spectacle and scandal, Grace Kelly's story reminds us that dignity, elegance, and humility never go out of style. Her name, her face, and her legacy endure as one of the most enchanting tales of the modern era. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Please do not forget to support my channel by clicking like and subscribe buttons.